welcome to the podcast by Literature Times. Today we have Mr. Abhilash, a multiple award winning bilingual author and poet by Kerala. Hello and welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
First of all, sir, we would want to know about your book very brief. What is the book about?
My book, which has won the uh, Legacy of Literature Award for the best literary fiction, is titled "The Ballad of the Universe." Going back to the real story, it was originally conceived nearly decades ago, while I was a uh, college student. Actually, I was 17-year-old when I originally conceived the idea of the seminal idea of the book. Then I wrote it the primal version of it, and a couple of years later, it won an award. Then when I after a few years, based on the new insights I had gathered, I rewrote again, and again it won another award 10 years ago. Then last year, the president of Writers International Foundation, Mr. Preet Nambiar, asked me if I have any book to publish with them. So he is the president of Writers International Capital Foundation, whose publishing wing is Writers International Edition. So they wanted me to, because last year I had been a delegate with them, participating in the Panorama International Literature Festival. I had also won an award there. So they offered if I have an intention to publish my book. So with that intention, I wrote it again into English with some changes based on the new insight. I mean, we are growing every year. We are growing. So I can say that it's never the same book which I have written 30 years ago, but it has a lot of improvisations based on the insights I have gathered. That's the story of the Ballad of the Universe. To answer your question about the theme of the novel, is that it's a story of a musician, an unusual, uncanny musician named Bharath. He masters his unusual music called cosmic music. He learns it from his master named Vishwanath. But in a very enigmatic way, his master asked him not to sing. So I never, those who have read the book can understand that it's an enigmatic way of putting it with layers of meaning, layers of interpretations, myriad interpretations. But the Bharat is laden with the weight of the agony because the entire soul is filled with music, and he has no other dream than music. The only thing he has been aspiring for is cosmic music and the performance and rendition of it to the fullness. But that very moment, he is asked never to sing again until his master permits. But master suddenly vanishes. So the story is essentially about the struggles and inner agonies of Bharat and his pursuit. But the interesting thing and the core of the novel is that he realizes what exactly his master meant by his life. He learns from the nature, from the people he meets later, and realizes what exactly is cosmic music. And you know that it's not exactly something to be performed on a stage, but it has to be realized in day-to-day life with the people, with the universe. And so that is how at the same time, it is a multi-layered text, as many of the reviewers have observed it. It has a multi-layered, multiple meaning, that it's a pursuit of, and it's a struggle of an artist, a musician, not exactly a musician, actually, it's a symbolic of a musician. And an artist is always is caught between the freedom and the burden of a genius and the other constraints. So it's all that's how it is. It has to be interpreted. But finally, realizing one's freedom is challenging. That's about my book.
Definitely. So as we know, you are a poet. So, does this book have any personal connection with you, or was it inspired by your life only? Because as you said that Bharat was a singer, but his master asked not to sing. So, does it have a personal connection with your life as you thought of this story on the age of 17? So,
Actually, no. To be frank, there is no connection with me about the way he is bound by the vow of silence. Because as actually the first line that came to my mind while I was a college student was that a musician, a maestro bound by the vow of silence. That was exactly word that came to my mind, and I shared with one of my classmates. And he said that it's an unusual theme. Then I was more developing the theme, and I want that if a maestro, it should not be he should not be a usual singer. Should be something extraordinary singer, and he should dream it as a unusual music, and so that he can have the weight of it held within. I think so something like holding the unsung music within oneself, as Maya Angelou once said, no, the bearing the untold story within oneself, something like unsung music within oneself. For a singer, it is a huge agony. So from there, I began the idea. Then I developed, but I think over the years, as I have lived my life, I think there are some personal connections with me that have been added with the final version. I mean, the Ballad of the Universe, different from the original version. The original version was more on the cosmic music and the its agonies. But I think over the years it has gathered more further meaning. So there has been some connections with my own life, maybe some silence, some poetry, and other things and all. So in that way, I think in some way it has connection with myself. Yeah, thank you.
definitely, sir. So Bharat cannot speak. So as a musician, he was unable to speak. So what does it represents to you?
Actually, whether he's a musician or a writer or any sort of artist, wherever in the world, they are not exactly free. Just think about the writers who lived under the Nazi regime, no? Or in the Russia when it was ruled by the Iron Curtain. So wherever in the world, actually no artist is exactly free. He has to get out of his confines to be free. There are a lot of factors that constrains him to be silent. Communal factors, religious beliefs, political factors, socio-economical constraints. So, if you once you have read the book, you can understand that he has to get into the realm of sacrifice. Actually, Bharat get into the realm of sacrifice. Actually, to be free, ultimate freedom is bought and purchased with some sort of sacrifice. Wherever you examine in the world, it's actually this conflict is always there. That's what I mean. Symbolic meaning of the silence actually, not exactly the silence. There is exactly the agony, personal agony of a musician bound by silence. At the same time, as a symbol of every artist in the world, he is in some way or other constrained by the surroundings, the society he lives in, the scenarios he lives in. He cannot speak it exactly what he wants because some way he or she no can be anybody no. So it's a reality in the
Yeah.
world. So becomes a symbol of every artist in the world. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Most welcome, sir. Sir, I just want to know that your story jumps around the time, like just like the music. So, what was your plan in the beginning, and did it make writing part hard for you?
Pardon? Not clear
Sir,
about
like yeah, like the story dances like music itself from time
yeah
to time. So, what
yeah
was the
yeah.
plan in the beginning, and does it make your writing part hard?
Actually, those who have read it, uh, everyone, I think every reviewer and every reader has commented that it's very unconventional way of storytelling. No, it's not the usual novel that everybody expects to read. to have a very formulaic way. No, I have chosen a different path, something like journey of the mind. Sometimes mind resonates with the nature outside. So it's a music, music is nobody can define music, in the world. Can refine music? You can define the way music flows. So exactly, I have chosen that way. It has to. Music is not to be defined. We cannot explain it, but it has to be experienced. Uh, we know that even if you listen to a musical piece which is which belongs to an unfamiliar language, even then we can understand, we can feel the music. So I have chosen that narrative, that way of narrative, because that's why some readers may find it unusual to accept it, or at least to adapt to it, because we are accustomed to more linear way of writing. No, so it's not exactly linear way of writing. So I have more given importance to the emotions, the poetic nature, and all those things. Exactly the way music goes, the flow of music. I think most of the reviewers have observed these things, and they have asked. So it flows like raga and all. No? There are plenty of ragas and all. Moves like that raga, just free
Yes.
flowing raga. Sometimes heightening,
Yeah.
then lowering, and going down. So that's exactly the way I have chosen it. I wanted to be that way. I did not want to be a conventional novel. So it's always that way. I think it has to be that way. Thank you.
Definitely. So that was a wonderful insight, sir, and actually it was very insightful.
Thank you.
And sir, how did your journey begin as a writer?
It's an interesting story. It began, I think, nearly 4 decades ago. I was a very small child. I used to read, I think, classics from the world classics. So my father used to bring world classics books. So one day, while I was studying in the sixth class, some of my classmates were scribbling some detective novels, and I was also writing because just to imitate them, just to imitate what they were doing, I wrote. So suddenly one day, I wrote an emotional story based on the friendship, a bond between a child and his pet dog. But it has a tragic ending, but with a great emotional bond. So one day I brought usually it happens that when somebody write, three or four students were writing, and when I wrote, my classmates were reading it in the classroom. Suddenly, one of my teachers came in, and he observed that the students were reading the uh, reading something during the classroom. Then
Yeah.
he got angry and asked him, "Bring it to me." And they were forced to take it to him. Then in front of the classroom, he read it silently, read it, and his eyes welled with tears, and he began to weep. Actually, that surprised,
Oh my God.
yeah, that's what exactly happened. Then I was only 10 years old. Then I thought I was actually scared because I thought he would punish me for
Yeah.
writing in the class. But actually called me
Definitely.
near me with moistened eyes. He called me and patted on my shoulders and told, "It's very good." Then my classmates were surprised, and they were told that if a story can make a teacher cry, then there is something unusual. And my that made my story most wanted in the classroom, and everybody was reading around. That was the first instant, maybe first accolade I got. I think first accolade I got in my life. Then I thought I think I have a gift for writing. Then I was in some sort of an introvert and lonely child usually, not like I had friends, but not a very social type of man. So naturally, those who are quiet and silent people will be more prone to writing. Naturally, I had a lot of time, a lot of books, and books were my best companions during my class. I read plenty of books, Indian books, and even world classics and all. So I think that helped a lot to me for to become a writer. And I have been writing prolifically for many years, but most of the writings have been lost because we don't keep them, just to be right. And I had a
Yeah.
huge bag in my, but I think over the years they are all of them were lost. But I think
Yeah.
there were some of my friends who used to read even when I was in ninth and tenth standard. There were some friends who used to read my books. I mean, written manuscripts. And later, I began to publish in the magazines. Actually, I began writing in the magazines, then books. Now there are 15 books in my name. Thank you. That's all.
Wow, sir. So, sir, when your writing journey started and the reaction you got through a teacher, like to get a reaction from a teacher is the best thing you could ever do. So, or you could ever get. So, what was your family's reaction like? Were they supportive and how it motivated you to even write more and more?
Actually, to be frank, I did not show I not show to my parents actually. There was my dad was a great reader actually. He had plenty of books, but for some reason I was shy to show anybody else. For a long time, I did not show anybody. I was writing privately most of the time, except my one own. She's no more. My father's sister. She used to read some of my writings and she used to comment. It's very good. But in other way, I never showed anybody to my at home. They rarely knew that. I mean, when I got my first award, actually they were surprised and they asked me, "When did you write this novel?" I mean, so that was the way I wrote. I mean, the original writings were written mostly in during the midnight when everybody are. I think I have written in the. I don't know. I think I written the preface of the Ballad of the Universe that I had written the first version mostly at the midnight when everybody was sleeping. That's the best time I chose because
Oh,
I wanted to be lonely. I did not want anybody to observe that I am writing. I thought so, that way, but now I think I have overcome that shyness. I can write anywhere. That's it. Thank you.
that was extraordinary, sir. And so, what inspires you to write after publishing so many books, like 15 books? That matters a lot. And what inspires you to keep writing?
Yeah, I love writing actually. I don't know, from my when I was since ever since I have been 10-year old, I have been writing. I think the if you ask me what was your greatest wish, I will say writing. Maybe reading and writing. The moment I began to read, I aspired to become like the writers whose books I have been reading. So that's why I switched into English. Initially I began writing in Malayalam, then I switched into English because I wanted to be read in various parts of the world. I don't know. I cannot say that I have accomplished it, but at least I have started. Like in some of my writings have been read at least outside India. But I mean, it doesn't mean that they have to be read outside India. But I just mean that it has to be reached wherever there are human beings. That's only my desire. That doesn't mean that I'm making international or something, but it has to be read beyond the language barriers. So, but
Definitely.
I think if I do not write, I cease to exist somewhere. Exist, I mean, okay, maybe so. Like Bharath, he cannot exist without singing. Uh, so it's an agony
Definitely,
for
sir.
him not to write. So for me to not to read or not to write is very difficult. Very difficult. That's how I write.
Okay, sir. So you write in both the languages, English and Malayalam. So how do you choose your language while writing something?
I think sometimes, especially writing poetry, I think I am more comfortable in English. I think we know Malayalam. It's a dialect, at least it's a language, but still for a limited number of people are speaking. So naturally, the word choices are limited in my language. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
language, very
yeah,
derived. I think derived from Sanskrit and all. There's a lot of words derived, beautiful words in Malayalam. At the same time, we have
yeah,
limitations of words. When in English, we have plenty of word choices. So sometimes I feel that to express my emotions, we have plenty of word choices. That gives me for English over Malayalam in some way. I think nowadays I think more interested in writing in English for naturally. Yeah, for some more like. But I think even no, I just keep balance between both language. Even now I keep writing in Malayalam. Mm, Actually, I cannot explain why I am writing this sort of thing in Malayalam or English. Sometimes I think in both way I
okay.
can write. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
yeah, that's
So, sir, in which language you feel more connected to your writing? Like while writing in Malayalam, you feel more connected, or while writing in English, it feels more connected to your work?
if you ask that question, I should say it's Malayalam because it's like breathing. It's my own breath. It's my own my mother tongue, so naturally it comes
Yeah.
naturally to us. English we have, it is acquired language, so, so we have to keep practicing and equip ourselves. Every day we have to equip ourselves. But whereas in Malayalam, I've been a very lover of Malayalam language from the very younger days. No, I like a lot of great writers in Malayalam. There are, and I'm very I admire them very much. I love Malayalam. There is no compromise with my language, but at the same time, considering the vastness and of opportunities to be read, I think I'm choosing more of English these days.
Of
That's
English.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, you have worked in media and music too. Has that influenced your work?
To be frank, I'm not a musician actually. If anybody misunderstands reading ballad that I'm a musician, I'm not a musician, but I'm a songwriter.
Yeah.
I'm a songwriter. I have written plenty of songs, and I have many friends who are musicians. I have been associated with, naturally, if, as a songwriter, I'm associated with several musicians. Several of them have become albums and recorded many. So in that way, but I'm a great lover of music, and for a very younger age, I love listening to music, different language in Malayalam, Hindi, Tamil, English, and all. Even now, every my day begins with listening to music, even instrumental and with lyrical. So, uh, because of the great love for music, that has helped me to write. In many ways, it has helped me to write ballad. Thinking about media, I have been 20 years into media, partially as a writer in advertising, as an advertising copy. I had been a long experience with writing. So that has helped me to be more precise in writing. So, to be advertising, we have to be precise. Word choices has to be exact. So even in media, we have to be exact in media. We cannot go on writing as much as we want.
Yeah.
So that's why Ballad is not a big book. It is a small book. No, not comparatively, it's not a big book. It's a compact book. So I think I make sure that my writings are precise and unwanted things are to be edited. I think naturally the editor in me is working when I write. At least in these days, I'm editing
Yeah.
my own writing. I think even after writing and even when if I go to sleep, I think that word should be corrected. That should be edited. Even if in the midnight, if I think that word,
Ah.
it will be in my mind. That will be in my. I think one word will be in that. I think that's not a correct word. Then I
Hmm.
immediately even if midnight I go to my text and go and edit the word and choose for a better word. So I think media has helped me a lot to pick the best word, I think, better afterwards. So thankful for that. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. Sir, while starting a novel, what comes first to your mind? A character, a scene, or an idea?
I think if you ask about the ballad, usually the theme comes. I think usually a theme comes to my mind. Uh, so far, the theme comes to my mind. Then I begin with a scene actually. A scene, first scene, even if the end of wars, it's another novel which was written some years ago. It is also an unusual, the striking way of beginning things. I think the first scene has to be striking. So I create a setting, a scene actually, not an idea actually. I create although I have a theme in my mind, I create a setting for it to start my novel. So from the setting, so it should be as in the ballad, it's full of natural beauty and intensity of the nature is there. It resonates with the mind of the protagonist. Bharat's mind is reflected in the Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is used as a setting to create a setting for him. So naturally, I'm working on another novel that is more character driven. It's a bigger novel, I think, not like Ballad. It should be I think when finishes, it will be double the size of Ballad. It will have more character, at least a dozen characters. I mean, I know so far my novels has been protagonist centered, but here there are no protagonists. There are many protagonists, and there are deeply sketched characters. And I have even sketched characters, and they have written their traits of these characters and all. But even then, the opening scene will be scenic and it will be scenic. The opening chapter will be scenic. It will be begin with one character. That's how we write.
Definitely, sir. Sir, you have been winning awards globally. So how has that changed your perspective as an Indian writer?
Uh, yeah, that's very interesting. That I think my another book named Father. It's a collection of poems had been published have been published from United States of America, Oregon State. 3 years ago, actually, I sent them. I found the address from the internet. In 2003, they accepted it, and their 5 editors reviewed the book, and finally they asked that they are interested to publish my book. And that was an unusual experience that it's being published in the United States. And I have never gone to United States, but still my book is being read there and it's been
Yeah,
published. And there have been 3 or 4 months of correspondence, reviewing, I mean, all those process and all. No, but that's a great moment for me. So, so it's it's a great feeling that people from the far away regions, far away nations are, and they have put my books on several platforms like Apple, Google, Barnes and Nobles, and all. I think I think they have made it great to reach everywhere it's there. So that was an excellent feeling that people of different nationality, different cultures are reading the book. So that in a way inspired me to write more in English, no? So that people, wherever people
yeah,
are speaking in English, they can read. I think we should go because humanity is the same, no? Whether if it is in English or whether it's India or in Kerala
oh,
or in Delhi, human mind is same. I found that
yeah,
the
definitely.
human mind, what people feel, the love they feel, the sorrow they feel, the happiness they feel. We don't think that American
Yeah,
happiness and American sorrow or German happiness or Indian happiness. No, everybody happiness is same.
no,
So that's why that's the essence of being bad. People are same. Human beings are same. They have a collective unison in everybody wherever they are born. They are a collective unity. They have a fraternity. Even the theme of father is also the same. The fraternity of the universe
yeah,
wherever people are. So I think the international view is essential for everybody. Universal view to be a huge brotherhood, huge fraternity, huge sisterhood where there is no barriers. Ballad
yeah,
essentially calls for that. Calls for that. A wide universe.
definitely, sir. So, what would be that one advice you want your writers or young writers to take from your book?
Actually, the theme, exactly as I said, there are although there are several themes, the uh, ultimate theme is that the whole cosmos has a harmony. It has a harmony. It has a sisterhood, a brotherhood. Whether human, not only between human beings, but between human beings and nature. The novel is filled with references to nature. So
Yeah,
there has to be a great fraternity, a fraternity between the universe. So then it demands us to be compassionate, to be lovable, to love, and not to hate anybody. So essentially, to welcome everybody beyond the differences, beyond the peripheral differences, and what we see outside. No, so although there are different outward differences, but we go beyond that and find out the essence of things. So even the tribals, they are very important in this. So we think that we are old-fashioned people. Now there is a trend that to call others old-fashioned, outdated people. No, there is no outdated. No, we are all.
yeah,
There is always a root. No, we are from whether no, there is an existence for a flower without a root. Every
yeah,
flower. So flower thinks that I don't want a root, then it's meaningless. Actually, it's a rubbishness that thing that there is no root. So there is now culture. There is a culture trend that disregarding the what old-fashioned things. I mean, their roots and all. So go back to the roots. So actually, our root is the universe. In the universe, so we cannot disregard the earth. We cannot disregard our nature. We cannot disregard tribal people. Some way or other, we are connected. So interconnectedness is the very essence of the ballad of the universe. There is a harmony, music in an orchestra. Uh, Everything is interconnected. Every instrument, everything is interconnected. If something is missing, then whole things crumbles. So that is how the cosmos works, universe works. We cannot say that you don't want this, you don't want that tribe, you don't want this nationality, you don't want. We want everything. Everything has to be accepted and welcomed. That's about it. Valid.
Definitely, sir. Like we do have cultural differences, but that should not kill the humanity in us, the
Yes,
humanity
exactly.
we live through. So, yeah, absolutely, sir. And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights with us, sharing your journey with us for the 3 and 4 decades of writing and coming up with such an incredible novel. And I'm really humbled and I'm really pleased to have you here. And it's a pleasure having you here. And I really hope to have you here again soon.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
It's a great speaking to you. Thank you so much. Have a time with me. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Have a good day.